Mango Mustache Media.
Yo guys, welcome to Creative While Black, where we focus on the expertise of what my guest creator does while taking away the stigma of what being a black creator is. I'm your host, Devin Green, and this show is produced and distributed by Mango Mustache Media. For more information on that, go to mangomustache.com. Today, we're talking with Raphael Robsrtson. He is an entrepreneur and a marketing manager who's currently going through a rebrand. So, Ray, let's go ahead and introduce you. What do you do? How do you do it? All that stuff. Let's go.
Oh, man, what do I do? You know what? I get in trouble with this a lot because oddly, every time I do one of these, somebody hears me and they're like, oh, man, you know what you do for us and you forgot me. So, like, that's one of the ones you got to think like, okay, I own a marketing firm that specializes in digital marketing. I sit on the board of directors of Kirkwood Alumni Association. I'm also their co-marketing chair. I sit on the board of directors of Johnson County's Big Brothers Big Sisters. I am also their marketing chair. I am on the business administration advisory committee through Kirkwood. Speaking of Kirkwood, shout out to Kirkwood.
Shout out to Kirkwood.
Those guys have been really big for me. Longtime friend. Started out as a teacher, mentor. Mark Abel just retired. I was one of the catalysts in getting him that award from Kirkwood that was just at the last ceremony.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, yeah, that was super dope to watch that because, like, a lot of kids get recruited for sports. He straight recruited me for marketing. Like, straight showed up for me, pulled me to the side and was like, you. So, and outside of that, just all around creative superhero.
Yeah, I agree with that one. I can vouch for Ray's marketing expertise because the way he does things, in a sense, like sometimes I don't agree with it, but then I look at it in a whole like vibe and everything, and it's just like, damn, how he put that together? Like
the new logo that we planted.
Yeah, exactly that. So like it's just one of those things where he just all around just a great creative person, and like the marketing and stuff and that he does is just amazing. Speaking of that, let's get into a little bit of the marketing that you do. Can you tell me about a little bit of the projects that you're working on right now?
Right now, I'm hired at Pat McGrath's, and right now I am the social media marketing manager for Harley Davidson. Right now, and then also as my clients, I still have Iowa Popcorn Company, still have list of several other companies. I'm probably gonna get slaughtered for not saying their names. I think everybody wants that pub, but I love everybody, and I just did the Black and Brown Business Conference in Des Moines.
Oh, let's get into that. What was that about?
That was about social media marketing, and even with social media marketing, question like SEO comes up. We even got into the Chat GPT conversation, which totally makes me feel like Tony Stark. That's the Iron Man suit.
Dog, as a guy that doesn't use it as much as he needs to, Chat GPT is legit. I at first I was skeptical about it because, AI coming for our jobs. They're going to take our jobs kind of shit. But basically what I did was I just integrated into like just getting it to work with code, and then using AI to just get it into that position where I can write documentation for that code, or I can use it to explain something to me like I'm 5 or stuff like that. Right. But back to you, you said that you spoke at the conference, right?
Yep, I spoke at the conference.
So could you get a little bit of a kind of like a gist of how all of that stuff came together, like the questions people asked you, like, and the stuff that you actually taught, like, kind of give them a glimpse?
Right. Like, one of the things that's, like, weird to me, well, it's not weird, but Kyan's mother, which Kyan is my son, she says, like, you have a very specialized knowledge. What you think is basic and simple, other people don't. She said, half the time, I don't even know what you're talking about. So, and being at the conference, especially, like, when SEO come up, and it's like, well, Google prioritizes website images that have faces on it. You can literally hear the crowd go, like, oh, I thought everybody knew that. It's like, no. Like, even afterwards, that's what I was pulled to the side for the most and asked the most questions about that, just the images. Another one that I tell them is, like, Google prefer original images versus stock photos. That's, again, it was like
that one I didn't know, but the other one I did not. Yeah, I was like, bro, so that made me, so, like, when I had redid my website.
And Devin's middle name is Google.
Man, no. I use Google like religiously, but also like
facts.
This is it's not about me. It's about I done lost my train of thought.
He even got Google bed sheets.
Nah, he lying. The mugs is blue. But no, I want to get back on that topic. So basically, the first thing that you said, how Google prioritizes, faces. So when I created my website, I had no idea about this. So that kind of explains a lot because the first thing that you see on my website is a picture of me, and that made SEO make it so that way people actually go to my website and people actually do all the things they need to do. But the other reason why I did it was just because like people don't like doing work with a business. They like doing work with a person.
Right.
So that just kind of like put it out there. So I can see why Google would prioritize having faces on your website in general. Could you go into a little bit more detail about that? Like just faces of the person there, or it's just faces in general? Like
it's preferably, I'm pretty sure preferably faces of the individual who owns the business, but even just faces in general creates a better user experience. It's not just code. Like have you ever been in a hospital where like you're literally the only person walking down the wing? I had to have knee replacement, so I had to go to the hospital at like a lot of really weird times to like have cordon shots or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
And like I used to walk down the wing, and it's like you're already at a hospital, like so, and it's kind of dark and it's kind of cold feeling. So
yeah.
So it's
Nobody
kind
like
of
being there.
it's kind of like that. So it's like the having faces is a more welcoming feeling.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see that. That brings me into the next part. The communities that you're a part of. Like you said a lot more about Kirkwood, if anything.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk about that. How do you like work with those communities, and how do they work with you?
I'm not quite sure if they realize it or no, but I like to be a bridge builder. I like to go out and I like to build connections, and then I like to bring them back to the people that's closest to me, like with you and all of my cousins and with my son when he gets old enough. But in turn, like I'm giving them me, like I'm giving them my time. Like we go in, we help all of these entities make decisions. We critique them on design work.
Ooh, okay.
So
Like that's dope because like no, not a lot of people. This is something that I like to do as well. I don't talk to a lot of people about it as well too. Like go out to go make the bridge for the other people and then go bring them and then help them cross it. But
everybody gets so selfish. It's like it's all me. And it's like even if you look at one-on-one sports like tennis or UFC, they still have to have camps. They still have to have teams to get them there. Like nobody does it by themselves. Like I'm a sole believer in opening that door and ushering people through versus trying to close it behind me.
yeah, no kidding. As a guy that used to be that way, I can understand how that can really be detrimental to your success.
Yeah.
It's
I got it done to me a lot, so that's why I'm like that.
yeah, me too. Like you realize that like hoarding that knowledge that you got,
Right.
it just doesn't make any sense. Like you're gonna keep this knowledge, then where is it gonna go? 9 times out of 10, people aren't gonna be able to do it as well as you. So you might as well tell other people, about the things that you know how to do, and then like they can do it in their own way and become a better person, but they can never do it like you. So it's just like, hey, come to me if you want this specific type of knowledge, and or if you want this specific type of skill, but you can come to them because I taught them and they learned how to do that specific type of skill kind of thing,
Right.
which is pretty legit. This is something that I get asked a lot, but I also want to know other people's perspective on it. So what is the difference between being a black creator versus being just kind of like a regular creator? What's your take on that?
It's the afterthought.
What do you mean?
The afterthought is where the separation comes from, because once creativity has no color. So when you are a creative person, you're just a creative person. But when you physically get into a landscape of we in a room with several other creators, oh, none of the other creators look like me, or there's maybe one other creator there, or because of my upbringing, my background, that is the major foundation and contribution to the way that I design. How is that going to affect me versus the way that somebody else designed? And I'm not going to even lie. I kind of got an example of that because I feel some way about that. It's that Lynn County logo. I felt the logo that we did was way better than that one. Every time I see that logo anywhere on an envelope or on those white cars, I cringe.
There's a such thing as bad logo design, and I see it all the time, and it just becomes like you want to correct it. You want to go to the person who thought of this and slap the absolute dog crap out of them, but you don't do that. You just go back and live out your day. But getting back to the other topic, I do agree with you on us being an afterthought, and it sucks because the only way that we have been seen is when we become that. We don't become the afterthought, and that's because we put in 10 times more work than what a normal creator would do. It's just one of those things that just sucks. I had to be 10 times better than what other person was to be considered the standard, basically.
Yeah, a lot of the times it's almost it can be times where it's like you're not taken serious.
Yeah.
Until you perform and perform and perform and then show that you're not a fluke, and then like I'm here. But then that's when that's when you turn into the black designer. So it's almost like you have to earn the name black designer, which would be the step above. Oh, this person just want to be a designer. This person think they're a designer.
Yeah, exactly that. It sucks because like you don't want to be the black designer. You just want to be the designer. You just want to be that person that is known for their work rather than known for being black in their work.
And if you ever look at the scale of things, it's like that scale is going to be hard to break. Even Barack Obama didn't have the ability to break the black president scale.
Yeah.
Versus just president. So it's like that's one of those situations that say, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard. I agree with you. I'm going to try very hard.
At least it got done in athletics.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan, one of the best black basketball players.
Yeah. It's just like, it's like the best way to explain it is like there's a wall here, and then like the creators are on this side. Some creators can bypass that wall, but if you're a black creator, that wall is just like, and it just go, and then you got to like go extremely hard to break through that barrier in order to get where everybody else is on this other side of that barrier.
Right.
Which is, I mean, it is very dumb, but it's just how life is at this current second. But
the way that I look at it is like chopping down an oak tree. How do you chop down an oak tree? No matter what way you cut it, it's just one chop at a time.
Yeah. A few examples of how I've ran into the wall of being a black creator. One of the times I was in Pontiac. I'm not from Pontiac, but that's like where I made most of my friends. I'm originally from Detroit, if you guys don't know. One time I was in Pontiac, I wanted to become like the greatest graphic designer there, and I was just starting to get into web design as well. This guy named Robertson, really great guy, does a lot of like crazy pieces of art, sculpting, architecture, stuff like that. He's just really good. When he introduced me into his friends, they were skeptical about me at first. And then they looked at my work and was like, whoa, what in the hell? This dude made this stuff? And that was after I had been doing it for maybe like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, because I just really wanted to be noticed about how I did these things. And then I've been drawing all my life. I've always been creative. So like getting up to that point digitally, which was what I was doing at the time, only took that short amount of time because I knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I just needed to figure out how to get the programs going. So when they saw my work, they immediately just took the black barrier away because I did the work and did the hard work in order to get to where I needed to be. There was a lot of people that I was associated with when I got there and got to where I needed to be before. But it's just one of those things where I wish I didn't have to be a part of that whole experience, or just that particular part of that experience, just so that way I can get noticed. It's just, it's one of those things that just sucks. And I deal with it constantly every day. And it's also a part of why I have kind of like the imposter syndrome stuff going on as well. And it's just not, I hate it so much that I try to figure out ways to get around it. And I hate it so much that it just seems like it's going to be set in stone in my head for the rest of my life. But I know that's not the truth. I know that's not the case because I do the things and I put the bricks and put the stuff down for the bridge in order to get to other people to go across that bridge for Black creators.
I look at it like a wall. I have no intention of getting around it. I'm just planning on running through it.
Yeah, I agree with that. You got an example?
So the way that I look at it, right, you have the designer side and you have the executive side. Like, I don't have a blatant example like you do for the design side, but mine would be more of an executive. Like, I don't want to throw too many people under the bus on today in this podcast. So I'll just use this example, but I won't say any names. So it was a particular company. They was looking for service, and we actually had met several times. And I kind of got the feeling that she didn't take me serious, and her budget was really, really low when we was talking. But I know who she went with, and after talking to that person, it was like they asked for just a little bit over what my original prices were, and that's where she went.
Wait, say that. I want to make sure I understood that. So their budget was low.
So she started with her budget to me when we were speaking was significantly lower than what she closed with and who.
Oh, okay. Dang, man. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That makes me. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little bit furious about that, but I'm gonna keep that under wraps only because it's just something that we deal with every day.
Sometimes I look at it as like that's part of the landscape. That's part of the territory. That's part of the terrain. Like, that's one of those things where you will get somebody who probably leans left a little bit and was like, well, at least you was considered. You was part of the conversation. You should be happy for the inclusion. It's like, no,
that's not how
lowballed.
Yeah, that's not how it works. I used to think like that before I started, like, doing the design work and getting to the point where I was like, like getting to the point where I was now, I'm at now. And I'll be like, oh yeah, I was in the same room as this person. I got to be able to do this. I got to be able to do that and all the other stuff. And then I realize now it's just like, well, I should have been here, but they placed me here because of the color of my skin. And that's the stupidest thing ever.
And one thing to the effect of something slightly different, I just want to tell everybody, make sure you pay your creative people, because every time we create something, that's literally a part of our soul. Like, you give us some instructions, maybe a little bit of detail, and we literally have to pour that out of our heart and soul and put that into a digital format that probably is going to be transferred into something physical that we put out there. Like, that is a part of us.
I agree. It's for a while I was going with this thing called empathic design. I still do go with it as a designer, but I don't advertise it in the corporate world because they don't particularly deal with that type of
them worlds are two totally different worlds.
Yes, but
corporate has no feeling.
Yeah, exactly that. Empathic design is taking what the person is feeling, what they want, and creating something based on the vibe that they have.
Right.
And yeah, you're right. It takes a bit of you put your soul into it, and it's just like, this is what I created for you because you came to me. And it's an amazing feeling when it happens, but also you got to be very cognizant about what you're taking away with the creator, because they put their heart and soul in that. You want to show that to everybody else, just like they want to show that to everybody else.
Most definitely a badge of honor.
Yeah, exactly that. I never really got support I won't say I never really got support as a Black creator, but I never really found support as a Black creator from other Black creators because I could never find them. In the creative field, when I was growing up, if you were creative and Black, basically you just didn't have, it was like one of those things where you just, they were like, nah, get a job. Go do this, go do that. My mom literally got so mad when she found out that I quit my job and I just really wanted to create designs and do all the things. And she got so pissed, she kicked me out. at one point.
Oh, jeez.
But that was also a few other things that I did too. That was an accumulation of stuff, and I still
Graphic design was the final straw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. But yeah, like it's one of those things where trying to find a creative community that is Black for me is extremely hard. So, and I'm an introvert myself, even though it don't seem like it when I'm on this podcast. But what I find is I find solace in individuals who are creative versus finding solace in the community that's creative. While there are communities of Black creatives that are out there, I find solace in like maybe not maybe. I find solace in Ray because he just is a creative person and he just think different than what I do. I find solace in let's see, my friend King, because he's a software developer.
Dope.
Yeah,
King's
software developer, and he does artwork and stuff like that.
Sam.
Yeah, I find solace in Sam because he come from where I'm from, and he does like all the video work and shit like that. It's just one of those things where, Matt, because he's just all around just dope, dude. The creative shit that come out of his mouth. This dude said. This dude said,
got him.
This dude said that he wanted to, like, basically, he didn't want to do the thing, but he knew he had to do the thing. So he said NOLO. Like, who comes up with that? Who comes up with that? More or less, finding solace in a community for me in particular has not been the easiest thing, is because it's just hard. I'm an introvert. I find solace in individuals rather than people. So, excuse me. It's just one of those things where if you find solace in a community, do it. Go ahead and be a part of that Black community, build up other people and get other people in that Black community and go from there. By the way, who do you find solace in? Like for your creative thoughts from Black
Oh,
people?
man, most definitely Devin Green. Like Devin Green is a gold standard. Like I'm not even just saying that because we here or you invited me here, but like that's legit. And like sometime when I like read your Facebook post and then like I see that you struggling with imposter syndrome, I ain't gonna lie, I get hurt, then I get mad because it's like just dude is legit a standard of design that everybody talks about, and I don't think you realize that.
I mean, I don't. I'm be honest with you. I don't hear people talk about my work unless it's at the end of my process with them, and even then, I still don't hear people talk about my work. But you would think that I would get it through my thick ass skull that people still come to me and people refer to me that do all of this stuff. But I still have that little bit of the voice in the back of my head saying, you ain't getting enough. You ain't going to do all this other stuff.
Kill that voice.
Yeah, that's what I be trying to do.
Kill that voice.
And I really think it's because of the undiagnosed ADHD that I got is the issue too. And the way I was brought up in my childhood too as the issue. So, I mean, therapy, but also that's a whole nother story. That could be a whole tangent because,
And then the second person I find that in is most definitely my son. Like, we feed off each other and we go back and forth. Like people can probably tell you just from the Facebook posts and the Facebook pictures, but messing with that little guy gets me so creative and gets me so amped in so many different ways because I have to create a path for him. I got to create a lane for him to go down. He liked to see his dad do cool stuff. Like he likes to see me win awards. He liked the car that he actually picked out for me, and that's why I drive it. So yeah, no, like most definitely my son would be number 2, and then I might have to put shout out to Oceans, my cousin Ty, my cousin Ricky, and word to Matthew, happy birthday. And he just graduated from Iowa Wesleyan. I don't know if many people know that he's the last graduating class to ever come out of Iowa Wesleyan.
Oh, wow.
So those 3 guys together is most definitely, I'm going to count them as one. And, just paving ways for them and trying to get them in the rooms. It's another group of people.
I can agree with you on that one. Like, it's just one of those things where it just all comes together. It really do.
Right.
My daughter Jasmine. So I don't talk too much about her.
Northwest.
The reason why I don't talk much about her is because I'm afraid that people do things on like social media and stuff like that. But more or less, she is one of the most amazing people that I've ever met in my life. She always wants to help people. She always wants to be creative. She always wants to be a part of what I do. And she always wants to see me succeed too. So I can agree with you when it comes to like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just,
a superhero. So it's like, how do you not feed off that energy?
yeah, no kidding.
How do you not want to create off that? Like, I want to create like a whole new life. Like sometimes it's like when he asks, "Can we go get a Bentley?" Damn, I wish we could go get a Bentley right now for real.
That's what Jasmine be doing to me the other day. She asked me if she could, when are we going to go get a house? And I'm like, God dang it, man, I want to go get it right now. But
We're about to go get the pant right now.
yeah, no kidding. But yeah, just taking that energy from like the like-minded creators and the people, creatives and creators that are just around you, and taking that energy and then put it into something positive. That's it's a beautiful thing.
Right. And it's tangible. You can see it.
Yeah,
You can touch it.
seeing and touching is a whole nother thing rather versus just having it into your like idea and thought. If you as a creator are watching this show and you see that you see something beautiful that you want to go ahead and like create and do and like make something like touchable. I couldn't think of the word.
Tangible.
Yeah, that's the word. Just do it. Like we don't have a lot of time in this world, but just take the time out to go ahead and create the thing that you want to create. And if you have a community that is supportive, please don't take that for granted. Use that to your advantage and make the things that make them happy and make the things that make you happy as well.
See, he said it nice. I'm just going to tell you, you got one life. Make it count.
I mean,
And it's like, and I tell people that all the time, right? Like, and especially like other blacks, I don't want to necessarily call them creatives because they're on that fence. And I know that the reason why they're on that fence is because of the stigma, or they have family telling them, oh, black people don't do that, which I had a family who told me that too, that black people don't do that. But my rebuttal always was, but Eddie Murphy did it as Marcus Graham in Boomerang, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There you go. Yeah, dog. So, funny story. I still have not seen that movie.
That's a crime. That's a felony. Somebody lock this man up right now. How do you not see it?
I have not. I don't know. It's just one of those things where I just haven't gotten around to doing it. But also, you should tell people the premise of that movie, because that movie I hear is really, really good, and I really, really need to watch it. And the last time we talked, like, it's just one of those. Tell them.
What drew me to Eddie Murphy's Boomerang is that's usually when I was a little kid when it came out. I was like 10 years old. And usually when you watch major motion pictures with black people, they're either overly ignorant or they're slaves or they're athletes. But yet you had this extremely well-dressed, very successful marketing executive of a black man who pretty much had his pick of the litter of anything. That appealed to me because I never wanted to be a professional athlete. I always wanted to dress well because my dad dressed well. But he worked in the steel mill. Like, I don't want to do nothing that grueling. So, and even beforehand, like, I was making little books myself. So the creative aspect always spoke to me. So when I actually got to see a black character on a big screen, I idolized him. Like, yo, he's fresh, he's well-spoken, he has money, he goes to a job that has an office, he calls the shots. Like, that was extremely appealing to me because Eddie Murphy plays marketing executive Marcus Graham. So,
okay. I like, and to piggyback off of that, the reason why I never really stopped doing what I was doing was because I saw Power Rangers when I was little, and that used to be my show back then. But now, if you ask me to remember any of the Power Rangers names and any of that, I cannot tell you. I really can't. But the biggest thing that made me like happy and made me continuously push to what I was trying to do is that they never gave up. And the Black Ranger in particular was like, y'all, we ain't doing this. Exactly. We about to get this going. We gonna go ahead and do this and do that and make sure that the bad guy is not going, come back and stuff like that. And that's what really made me like realize that you should never really give up. It's been ingrained in my brain. Like, there's times where I would like be on a bridge of like just like not just quitting just because I don't want to go ahead and do it. And I always like, I don't know what I think of, but I know that thought in particular of don't give up is in the back of my head because I've watched that show.
Well, shoot, when you get this far into the game like we have, it hurts to give up. Like, I didn't come this far just to come this far.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like, that's where I'm at too. I think my biggest thing is like I don't really think like I haven't come this far to come this far. I think more so I have a daughter to support. I have a whole reason of why I'm doing this. I have a wife that I want to be able to do all the things I need to do. I have a family that I want to be able to take care of. That's my biggest thing that makes me want to continue to do what I want to do and also bridge the gap between Black creators and every other type of creator out there. Like that gap should be just connected all the time. Like there should always be a connection between every creator, regardless of their skin color or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah,
100% agreed.
On that note, I think we could go ahead and wrap it up. Can we go ahead and yeah. All right, so let's talk about social media. Where can people find you? Where can people go? Yeah, tell me all
So
that
you
stuff.
can find me in a month or two. I'm about to go through a rebrand right now. I'm taking the company from Robertson Marketing and Branding to the Robertson Branding Company. So right now I'm in the middle of changing all of my handles, but you can follow me on Instagram at guapi_Robbie. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Raphael Robsrtson. LinkedIn is probably the absolute best way to find me. I like to connect with people on LinkedIn. I like to have conversations on LinkedIn. I've been put on several panels, and because of LinkedIn, that's how I even made it to the boards that I sit on now. So like one of the major ways to connect with me is most definitely LinkedIn. But in a couple months, we're going to do this grand opening. Hopefully I can make it back here right before the grand opening so I can invite all you guys there. We can just have fun, ball out, and celebrate success.
Thank you, Ray, for being on the podcast.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and man, at some point I'll probably have you back.
Let's do it.
And at that point, we'll do the whole, hey, let's talk about the rebrand. Let's talk about how you successfully rebranded yourself, all the clients that you got now because of that, and go from there, man.
Yeah, man, let's do it. That's going to be a dope time. I can already see it in my head.
Yes, sir. All right, man.
I cannot lose.
Hey. Yo, guys, thank you for listening and watching. If you guys are listening or watching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Music, or just anywhere that you're listening to it, really thank you guys. But for the most part, give us a subscribe and follow us and share with your friends, because like this doesn't get good until, you go with other people and share with other people. Just to let you know, this podcast is produced and distributed by Mango Mustache Media. If you want to learn more about Mango Mustache Media, go to mangomustache.com. And if you want to go ahead and view the rest of the podcast episodes, go to mangomustache.com/creative-while-black. So with that being said, thank you guys. Keep innovative, creatives. Peace.
Mango Mustache Media.